Happy Monday, everyone. It's an exciting Monday live stream today. It's a nice warm day here in Southern California, but we're going to kick it right off with our big announcement. I have been keeping a secret from you, and we have a special delivery to help me show you what the secret is coming in right now via drone. Special delivery just for you all. And it is the 10-Minute Gardener. How to have a veggie garden and a life. 85 time-saving tactics to save you time in the garden. My brand new book coming out in December, Christmas Eve, 2024. So whoever announced a book via drone delivery, this is pretty cool. Very excited to have you all with me here today for announcing my brand new book. So I've been working hard on this for over a year, and we have not breathed a word of it to anyone except a few people who have been on our team. I want to thank Quarto, Cool Springs Press, my publisher. They have an amazing team over there of editors, designers, marketing people who have been part of my team helping me put this thing together. So can't wait to get this book in your hands. It is up for pre-order now over at CaliKimGardenandHome.com. And in fact, the very first 20 people who pre-order it, Jerry's having a few drone issues here, but we'll get it up and rolling again. But the first 20 people who pre-order it, we planned something very, very special for you. And that is a free Edamame Bee Sweet bean packet and a Smart Pot transplanter. So all the info is over on our website. And to be one of those first 20 people, thanks, camera guy.
That was a rough one.
This is awesome. Now, what you guys don't know here, I'll tell you a little bit of behind the scenes here, is literally 30 seconds before the live stream started, Jerry crashed the drone and we weren't sure if it was going to go, but he quickly brought it back to life and we're able to bring this to you via drone. So thank you, Jerry, so much. We were sweating it out. Not only that, it's about 100 degrees out here today, maybe 95, but it's nice and hot. It's an exciting day for you. For us to bring this to you. Thank you so much, Jerry.
We had our trials in our test run yesterday as well. I'm sorry, Ken was here. We had some trials and issues yesterday, but we worked through them. We knew there would be some challenges by the drag caused by the book cover, but we thought we're going to just go for it and where this thing lands. Kudos to you. You did a great job.
It's a lot of fun to announce something that we've been working so very hard on. We did all the photographs, wrote everything, and the amazing team at Cool Springs Press and Quarto put it all together for us.
I'm heading into the control room.
Jerry's heading in. So head over and pre-order. That would really help us out. It's available at several different online retailers. And if you pre-order it with the link on our website, come back, put in your pre-order number, and you'll get a digital download, an excerpt from the book, how to set up a really quick seed starting station in under 10 minutes, as well as a $10 coupon to our website. All the information is over there, but the first 20 people who send me a screenshot to CaliKim at CaliKimGardenandHome.com will get the packet. This is a premium seed, a Bee Sweet Edamame, and I just harvested some myself from my garden over the weekend. They're absolutely delicious, super productive, and then Smart Pots jumped in and generously offered everyone, the first 20 people, one of these wonderful transplanters, which I absolutely love. We've got the little pepper planted here. So be one of those first 20 people to send me a screenshot of your pre-order number along with your name and address. Pop 10-Minute Gardener in the subject line, and we will be sending out your free seed packet and transplanter next week. So thank you all so much for being here with me today for this very, very exciting announcement. Now, you might be thinking, I am so busy, I do not have time for a vegetable garden. But this book is proof that you can. The key is putting routines and systems in place that help you save time and garden smarter, not harder, so you can still have a productive garden and not have to sacrifice all of your time for your garden. And it really helps avoid burnout. It just helps you be a more time-efficient person so that you can spend time with your family and friends and not be spending all of your time in the garden, although we do love getting out in the garden. But this has some good routines to help put that on autopilot for you. So super excited. We're going to be sharing more little excerpts from the book as we go along here today. But once Jerry gets up in the control room, if he's up there yet, I wanted to show you the table of contents. So Jerry, whenever you have a chance to pop that on the screen, we'll give them a moment. I'll just hold it here in my hands for a second. But the book is laid out in a really fun way. There's 3-minute tips, 5-minute tips, 8-minute tips, 10-minute tips, and even tasks that you can do, a few that you can do in 30 minutes on the weekend. So it's a type of book that you'll be able to pick up, open up to a page and say, that's the one I want to do today. I've got 10 minutes on my lunch break. I'm going to run out and do that. Or I've got 5 minutes while I'm waiting for my water to boil on the stove. I'm going to pick that task and run out and do it now. So it's a practical way to integrate those solutions and tactics and tips and tasks into your life, into your daily life, without having to spend hours and hours and hours in the garden. Of course, you can always spend more time than 10 minutes, but it gives you specific things to do to fit gardening into your life. Not only that, each chapter is broken down by season. So we have tasks that will be completed in the early season, the mid-season, the late season, and then the dormant season. So no matter what time of the year it is, no matter where you live, this book is going to be a super practical help for you in your garden. And it comes out just in time for Christmas, right? So if you pre-order it, that means that it'll be shipped on release day. And you can always order extra copies for your friends and family members. I'm sure they would love getting it even after Christmas as a New Year's gift. And then once the book is released and I have actual physical copies in inventory here, there'll be signed copies available to order at that point in time. So super excited. We'll bring you a book reveal as soon as I get my first copy. It's still in the process of being printed and everything, but we wanted to get it to you now so that you can get things rolling and get it pre-ordered in time and be one of those first 20 people. So super excited. Here's Jerry's popping at the table of contents. Thank you so much to everyone. Some of you have already gone over and pre-ordered. Tara, thank you so much. She already pre-ordered. I garden in short bursts to take breaks from work. This is perfect. I'm so excited for you, Tara. Smart Pots, thank you so much. Sounds like a best-selling book to us. Wonderful. I really appreciate all of the votes of confidence. And here we're going to actually jump into our first tip. So all the tips I'm bringing to you today, Jerry, you can actually leave that one there on the screen. All the tips I'm bringing to you today are from the book. We're going to talk about 3 different ways to save time in the garden. And the key is really keeping it integrated, that these tasks integrated into your routine, keeping supplies handy and organized and on hand in convenient locations so that you can do something like this one here, and that is tomato TLC in a flash. Now, I love how the book is laid out with nice big photos, and each task takes up 1 full spread page. So tomato TLC in a flash is perfect for this time of the year when a lot of our tomatoes might be looking maybe just a little bit of disease, maybe some pests, maybe they're just kind of looking a little bit beat up from the weather. So this is a proactive approach. The key is to really do it early in the season or early in your tomato's life, so that it manages the disease and the yellowing leaves on your tomato. So it can really help slow down tomato disease rather than having it take over everything. So in just 5 minutes, a few times a week, you've got some time on your lunch break. This tip will tell you exactly what to do. You want to prune for airflow. So get your little pruners. And if you guys were over at my garden, you would see I don't think I have one right here on the table, but I have got little pruners, and Jerry will tell you, stashed all over the garden. And one reason why I do this is because I don't want to spend time looking for my pruners. So often what I like to do is just here, I have one right here, look, stick them in my garden bed. I think every one of my raised beds has a pair of pruners in it, or scissors, or some little way that I can, at a moment's notice, snip and clip or trim my tomato plants. So these get kept everywhere. And really that's the key, is keeping your supplies accessible. Now, a little time-saving tip here when you're pruning your tomatoes is keep 2 buckets handy. I usually have buckets stashed in the corners of my garden. So when I'm pruning my tomatoes, I can quickly grab a couple of buckets. One of them is for diseased branches and leaves. So anything that's yellowing, anything that's crispy, anything that has insect holes will go in that bucket. And when I'm pruning my suckers, which is a huge part of the tomato TLC, especially with my tomato string trellis, when I'm pruning my suckers, those will either get stuck in a jar of water to propagate, but I've got plenty of tomatoes propagating right now. So if I don't need those, I'll throw them in the other bucket and that will get thrown in the compost pile as long as they're healthy tomato suckers or tomato branches. So the key again is keeping things organized. Now, excuse me, what you want to do for your tomato TLC in order to keep it time efficient, in order to keep it not an overwhelming task, so you don't get burned out and look at your tomato plant and go, oh my gosh, that is so much work, I can't even get to it, is keep up with it weekly. So you may want to designate a certain day of the week to go out there and prune up your tomatoes. And even a theme I use throughout the book is set a timer. Set a timer on your phone, allot yourself, say you've got 5 minutes for your lunch break. And this one is in the 5-minute chapter. You've got 5 minutes for your lunch break. You're sipping your coffee in the morning for 5 minutes. Set your timer, just set yourself a limit and go out and trim your tomato plants for 5 minutes. Get your buckets, get your pruners, and that way you don't get so overwhelmed. It keeps it manageable. And then when you have another 5 minutes, go out and prune them again. So if you integrate this routine, and that's really the key to saving time, is integrating that into your regular daily routine, you can be time efficient and really make the best of your time. Okay, let's head into the chat. I can't wait to see your comments. Southern Sky, hoping I'm one of the first 20. Love, love Smart Pots and those seeds. Yes, I hope you are too. So good luck. And it's really going to, the first 20 will really come in by the timestamp of the email. So I could be flooded with emails in my inbox, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and take the first 20 people and get those sent out to you. So good luck on that one. Southern Sky, another question here is, I just placed my pre-order on your website, and the pre-order number, I just typed the number 1. I didn't know what to put in. Okay, so you're going to get a pre-order number, excuse me, like when you purchase from Amazon, or there's also Barnes & Noble, just about anywhere you can purchase books online. There's a link down there. When you get your pre-order confirmation, usually they send it to you via your email, there'll be a confirmation number. So you can go ahead and type that in on our website where it asks you for your pre-order number, and that will be your pre-order confirmation number, just to make that clear. Julie, there's a form on our website that you can put that in. The form on our website is going to give you your digital download, which is the free seed starting station and a $10 coupon to our site. That will be emailed to you automatically. And that goes from here until the time that we release the book. But the first 20, email me a screenshot once you get your pre-order confirmation. That only goes to the first 20 people. And there's not a spot on our website to put that. So email it to me, CallieKim@CallieKimGardenandHome.com. So Julie, hopefully that helps answer your question. Okay, Clayton Smith, great suggestion here. Make sure to keep your shears clean after each cut so you don't spread diseases. And that's something I started integrating this year for the first time, is I keep a little jar of isopropyl alcohol. And I actually have a little small 3-gallon bucket that I have my garden supplies in that I carry around with me. And I keep a little jar of isopropyl alcohol. So every time I clip a branch, I will just dip that in there, and that way it cleans it and helps the cut heal quicker on the plant that I'm pruning. So thank you, Clayton, very much for your amazing assistance there. And don't forget, guys, we have Smart Pots and Monterey here in the chat. So don't forget to ask them your pest and disease control issues, and Smart Pots your container garden issues. And of course, Cliff and Nisha, our moderators, are always keeping things rolling as well. And before I forget, another fun announcement is this coming Friday, we're going to be at the Rusted Garden Homestead out in Maryland, live streaming on location. So we'll be live streaming together with Gary. So set your timer, set your reminder. It's going to be Friday at noon Pacific time, special live stream from the Rusted Garden Homestead. And next Monday, we will not be live streaming. So just make those adjustments to your live stream calendar. All that information is in the video description as well. Don, thank you so much. I appreciate your support. Book has been pre-ordered. I am excited to support you all. Really appreciate it. And guys, this book, I think I am the most excited about out of any of my 3 books because it can help anyone, whether you're a beginner gardener or a seasoned pro. There's tips and tricks and all kinds of tactics in there that I've learned over my years of gardening that are going to help anyone be able to garden smarter and grow more vegetables in less time. Okay, excuse me. All right, let me, Tara, what are the best Monterey products for lettuce and broccoli? So Tara, if you could be just a tad more specific on that one. Do you mean for pests? Do you mean for fertilizers? I know they've got the Dr. Iron, which I add to all my raised beds. And I'm very excited to be trying out their fish fertilizer very soon. So stay tuned for some videos on that. Okay, so let's head back into our second tip here. And that's going to be another one of my favorite routines. It kind of goes along a little bit with the tomatoes, but I like to call it in my book the tie up Tuesday, Thursday routine. So Jared, if you could find that image and pop that up here. Now, the key to getting this one going too is, again, establishing a routine, integrating into your life, into whatever you're doing for that week. But something that helps me remember is tie up Tuesday, Thursday. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays is going to be your tie-up day. And what that means is I've got a ton of cucumbers growing right now, and they do need a little bit of help tied up their trellis, or they tend to just flop over and go crazy all over the garden. So another thing I keep all over my garden is these 2 things. Well, mostly this one is hanging from trellises all over my garden. I probably have 10 rolls of this all over the place. And I only have 1 roll of twine right now, but I really need to get a couple of more. So I like to hang this from my trellises, from my tomato cages, all over the place. So whenever it's time for my tie-up Tuesday, Thursday routine, I can dash out. And within about 5 minutes, this is in the 5-minute chapter, I can tie up several cucumber branches or tomato branches or peas if it's a cool weather vegetable. Even my sunflower right here, it was hanging way down in front of the camera before the live stream. I grabbed my twine real quick and just tied it right up. But the key is having the items that you need accessible. So one little thing that is kind of helpful when you're doing your tie-up Tuesday, Thursday routine, I've got this in the book too, is break off several lengths of this. I love this stretch-up tie-up tape because you don't even need scissors. You just break it off, and then you could even hang it like from your pocket or your belt loop. I typically will keep this in my pocket as I'm strolling throughout the garden and have a little string of it hanging down here like this, and then just break off a piece and tie up whatever it is I need to tie up. So integrating the Tuesday, Thursday tie-up routine is super, super helpful because once you stay ahead of things, when you stay ahead of things and ahead of the game, it prevents everything from getting out of control. You're overwhelmed. You really don't even want to go out in the garden because you feel like you just have so many jobs to do. So by integrating this routine into your week, whether it's, okay, I'm waiting for dinner to cook, it's Tuesday, I'm going to run out and tie up my cucumber plants. So you may just want to pick one area for one of your tie-up sessions, and then for your next tie-up session, go to the next area. So just give yourself permission to work in little chunks of time. And it really helps you from being overwhelmed and being burned out. What I like to do with my tie-up session when I'm staying ahead of it is begin at the base. So when my sunflowers were young, I tied them up right here to give them some stability. And then as they grew, I progressively tied them up. Like here's, another 6 inches or a couple feet up. Then as they grew further, I tied them up, a little bit higher. That way, before it gets out of control, you're maintaining a beautiful plant and it looks healthy and lovely and has a nice, tidy, neat appearance. Okay, Kim. Okay, you're the same as me, Kim. I keep my stuff in a tote bag hanging from my fence post. That's even a better idea too, in a tote bag, because then you've got all your supplies in one spot. You can grab your tote bag, throw it over your shoulder, and then just walk around the garden and do whatever you need to do with all your supplies handy. So what a difference having everything accessible and organized makes. Now, you guys have seen on our Garden Life videos how I've been working hard to get things organized in the garden. What actually happened is, while I was writing my book for the past year or so, I didn't have near as much time out in the garden as I normally do. And then we had the whole deck construction project. So things did get a little bit unorganized, I must confess. And then after the book was finished, we had to go back and kind of reorganize and reset and put all those systems back in place. I got a little bit out of hand. So there are those times when you're super busy and you're not able to be as organized as you would like to. But then as soon as you can, just get back out there and pick a little bit to do each and every day.
Hey,
Jerry?
Kim, I do need to tell you that we just had a 4.7 earthquake near Pasadena. So
No
we'll
kidding.
continue with the live stream, but just be prepared. And if we need to break away, then we will.
Wow, I didn't feel a thing. Did you feel it?
Drew felt it. I heard it, but did not feel it. But Drew did,
Wow.
for sure.
Okay, so if anyone's out in Pasadena, stay safe, and we may be holding on here if we start shaking again, okay? So not only a drone shot, but an earthquake. You never know what's going to happen on our live stream on a Monday. Okay, hopefully it won't happen. Tara, I saw your comment on there that you are loving the tomato clips. I absolutely love them too. It's such a huge time saver, and I actually didn't discover those until after I finished my book. But I am going crazy with those all over the garden as well. So I'm glad it's been super helpful for you. And Julie, thank you so much. You just placed your pre-order. I love your books because they're clear and concise and enjoyable to read. I really appreciate that, Julie. And I tried to do the same with this book as well. There's a lot of step-by-steps, quick step-by-steps. It's not as much of a project-based book as my other two. But definitely graphically beautiful with lots of gorgeous pictures and beautiful, beautiful colors. Whoa, chick, why did my butternut squash crack? Too hot or too much water? It could have been a little bit of both. Typically, or maybe if you left it on the vine too long, it maybe got, just boiled almost from the heat. You want to harvest those, excuse me, when the outer shell, you really can't pierce it with your thumbnail or your fingernail. It's super hard. And then when the stem on the top changes from, or when the butternut squash itself has no more green on it, and the stem is a little bit of a darker color brown than it previously was. So keep an eye on it, and you may want to just pull some of them off a little bit sooner than you did that one. Okay, we're going to jump into the third actually, tip that I have for you today to save time in your garden and to garden smarter. And this is one of my favorites. It's called Swift Seed Sowing. And this is actually a 3-minute tip. It's all about succession planting. We've talked a lot about this here in our live streams. And succession planting is a wonderful way that you can also save time in the garden, because not only are you making the most of your garden space, but you're keeping the harvest rolling in. You're not waiting as long for your crops to go from seed to harvest because you have another one in its place when one is dying off. Now, what I like to do, I've got actually like to keep this little basket on top of our piano, which is right by our back door or on our kitchen table. And in this little basket or bin, I put any of the seeds that I want to be planting that week. So for example, in here, I've got some more of the partial eclipse scallop squash. So I've got some squash in here. I've got some cucumber seeds. I've got my late summer garden seed collection which has cucumbers, squash, the Tiny Tim tomato. Right now at this time of the year, it's a perfect time to succession plant sunflowers and beans. So what Jerry's always laughing because I always have seeds in my pocket. They always turn up in the laundry, all kinds of places. But I grab a few seeds, I put them in my pocket, and when I'm heading out the door, and I've got empty spaces in my garden where I'm pulling things out right now, I'll just pop a few seeds in those spots in the garden. That way, again, it helps me avoid overwhelm, thinking, oh my gosh, I have so many seeds to plant. Nope, none of that anymore. As I'm walking to take the trash out, I'll just pop a couple seeds in the smart pots up there. And then in 3 or 5 days, they'll be popping up. And I'm like, wow, I didn't even have to really spend time doing it. I really didn't even notice that I needed to go out and succession plant because I've got the seeds with me all the time, right by the back door, accessible. I'm just popping them in the garden beds as I'm walking around, maybe with my coffee or in the evening while I'm watering. It's a good thing to do if you're on the phone with someone, taking a call. You can be out there popping all the seeds in your garden beds and your containers. So it really is a great little tip to save time. And it takes 3 minutes or less. So the big payoff here is that you're managing your time in little chunks of time. over a week or 2 weeks time period add up to a lot. And before you know it, you've got a beautiful thriving garden, lots of little seedlings popping up, and you don't even feel like you had to work that hard for that steady supply of vegetables. Now, one thing that is included on every page of the book is how it saves you time down the line. So by integrating this routine into your day, into your week, into your month, down the line, it's going to save you time because you're going to have a continual supply of vegetables. You're pulling out old ones, and you'll have new ones to take its place. So just a little tip as you're looking through the book. Okay, I want this time saver down the line. I'm going to do this one now. Okay, Woback has a question here. Is it too late to pop in some bush beans? No, it's not. Bush beans take about 6 to 8 weeks to harvest. So depending on where you live, if you're in the South like we are here, you can be harvesting beans well into November because we have warm weather until about November. If you're in a farther northern climate, you might be getting cooler in about a month or so as the fall approaches. And the hours of sunlight do get less too as the fall approaches. But typically, even in August, if you plant beans now in a nice sunny spot, you should be able to get a harvest before the weather turns too cold. So the key is look at the days to maturity on the back of the seed packet, and then look at your first frost date. So if your first frost date is mid-October and beans take 8 weeks, you can count backwards 8 weeks, which is right about now, and you're going to have enough time to plant your bean seeds. Okay, Terry, I put seeds in like that and forget to go label them. Always an interesting surprise. Yeah, definitely. I've done that many a time too. I think to myself, I'm going to remember. So you might want to add some labels and a Sharpie here to your little bin to take out with you so you can quickly or even pre-plan and pre-label whatever seeds you have in here for the week. Put your labels in here, would be an even better time saver. And that way you have your labels ready to pop in at a moment's notice. Okay, Dawn in the Mountain, the flower right behind you is so pretty. Is that a type of sunflower? Yes, it is actually, Dawn, you can't see it from here, but it's actually about 15 feet tall. And this is, I forget what variety it is. It might be the black oil sunflower, and it just reseeds itself every year and comes back in this exact same spot and provides me with a little bit of shade, although I've got an umbrella over me as well. But it's a beautiful sunflower I can see from my kitchen window. So that's always fun. Okay, V, I have done the same with a small basket with seeds and labels. No date, but at the door a few days ago, sown some cucumbers and they're already sprouting. So yeah, it's crazy right now. V, I'm glad you've already integrated that into your life there. You're all that much farther ahead in gardening smarter. But especially right now when the soil is so warm and the temperatures are so warm, those quick growing veggies, like all the ones from my late summer garden seed collection, are going to be popping up very, very quickly. And it's so easy. You don't have to start your seeds indoors, put them under grow lights, harden them off. You can definitely do that if you want to at this time of the year, or you can just pop them and direct seed them right in the garden bed. Now, if you do want to start from seed indoors, now's a good time to get your fall garden started. And I do have a section in the book on a quick start fall garden. And that would be in, I think it's a 10-minute section, in the 10-minute chapter in the late season. So it really makes it helpful to have each chapter organized by season. So no matter what season you're in, there's a job that you can do. Yeah, labels with no name and no date. Yeah, I've been definitely guilty of that as well. And it's always a little bit of surprise, like what kind of tomato is this? What kind of cucumber is this? What kind of plant is this? If you're not familiar with how the plant looks. So, okay, we've got a little bit of time left in the live stream here. It is pretty hot out today, so I might cut it a little bit short. But let's go in and answer some questions, whatever questions you might have, or even if you have a question on writing a book, the book process, that kind of thing, I'd be happy to answer some of those as well in the remaining few minutes. And by the way, our Friday live stream with Gary is going to be all about fall gardening. So make sure before we get to that live stream, you watch my What to Plant in August video. That's all about planting a fall garden. And Gary has a What to Plant in August video too. That's all about cool with their vegetables, you can grab my fall garden seed collection over on our website. All of my seed collections actually right now are 25% off, along with the smart pots and the garden kits. You can grab those as well. And by the way, you could use your $10 coupon for your fall garden seed collection too, if you'd like. Okay, questions in the chat here. Let's see, from Julie. All right, Julie, question. This is a fantastic idea to write your book on. How did you come to use it? Well, actually, I've already written 2 books, as you guys know. And my editor at Cool Springs Press, Jessica, I've worked with her for, I don't know, 5 to 7 years on my books. She said, Kim, I think this would be a great idea for you for a book. Would you be interested in writing it? You already do videos on quick, simple, inexpensive gardening. I think it would fit really well. And I love the idea. And I sat down. This was almost exactly a year ago. And I said, let me see of how many 10-minute tips I can think of. And I made a whole big long list. I might have had like 100 10-minute tips on there that could be done in 10 minutes or less. And I sent those over to her and she goes, I think we've got something here. And so that's kind of how it all came to be. I started writing it, I think around October, finished it in March. And then we wrapped up all the photography, I think in April. From start to finish, it's about an 18-month process. So it took me about 3 or 4 months to write it, another month or 2 to complete the photography. And since April, Cool Springs Press and the team over there has been working on the design, the layout. They actually take some pages, send them out to various companies and say, would you like this book on your website? Would you like this book in your store? That type of thing. So it's quite the process from start to finish and quite the team that's involved with the whole process. So super excited about that. Clayton, I'm currently working on an article on how to read and understand the wording on labels. It will be in one of the trade magazines. So that's awesome. Clayton has been very instrumental here in our live streams, helping you all figure out all your pest and disease control issues and also helping me in my garden figure out some issues too. So really appreciate his expertise. And we can all look at labels and sometimes they look like complete gibberish. So I'm sure that'll be super, super helpful. Okay, Terry, I was working on my second book. Congratulations, Terry. I didn't know you had books out there. You'll have to let us know all about it. And got so busy caregiving for my sister. Now I need to get my motivation back. It's on plant-based eating to fight arthritis. Any tips for getting back on track? You know what, Terry, what I would do, or what I did, and this might help you, is instead of saying, okay, I'm working on my book every single day, I set aside Wednesdays. Wednesdays was my book day. And everyone knew in the house not to bother me on Wednesdays. I went up to my office upstairs. I shut the door. I was pretty much up there working on it for 12 hours on Wednesdays. And that just kind of helped me compartmentalize it. So I didn't feel like I always had to be working on it. And then, of course, when you get down to deadline time, you do kind of always have to be working on it. But was kind of my routine. The other thing that was very helpful is I always had my outline in front of me. So I laid out exactly what I was working on, which day. I actually put a date by it. And that way I had a goal. So for this week, I need to work on this chapter. The next week, I need to work on this chapter. So break it down into smaller chunks, because when you look at it as a whole, it's very overwhelming, just like gardening. So it's pretty much what I do in the book is break your gardening tasks down into smaller chunks so you don't get overwhelmed and don't get burned out. But congratulations, Terry. And I want to encourage you, just keep at it. Keep at it consistently. And before you know it, you're going to have it done. Okay. Any other questions here in the chat? I'm super excited that so many of you have pre-ordered, and what an exciting live stream to finally be able to share with you what we've been working on for so long. You don't know how many times I wanted to share what's been going on, but we just had to keep it quiet for a little bit till we were given the go ahead and let the cat out of the bag by our publisher. So,
where's our little flyer?
This one?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. Oh yeah, this one. So Jerry, I think we're going to go ahead and close it out for today before we get hit with an earthquake or before we get too hot. Thanks for flying the drone in, Jerry. Appreciate it. And for all your support. And I have to say, could not do it without this guy, because he held down the home front and everything else. I was busy writing, doing photographs, all kinds of other things. Never could do it without him. So thanks, Jerry.
Oh, you're welcome. And
instrumental.
It's a team thing here. And I think Kim's also being very humble and to write a book and then this many books. And I don't know how you do it. And I'm just really proud of you
Thank you.
for being able to do that. And you loved gardening, so to be able to write, to be asked to write about the thing you love too, I think is quite an accomplishment, in life. And I'm really proud of you. I'm just, I'm going
Thanks,
to
honey.
take it easy for a little bit now, maybe.
Right.
Anyway, I just thought I'd show you that.
And thanks for all your excitement too. Really appreciate it, and all your support. I know you're going to love it, and we can't wait to get it into your hands. Hopefully, just a little bit after Christmas.
I will say, sorry, that there was a horrible drone accident before we went live. Drew caught it on film.
Oh, you did?
So be watching for our Instagram of this drone wipeout. It's hilarious. But we were able to get the thing back going just in time for the live.
We weren't sure if this was going to fly about 30 seconds before we went live, but Jerry got it up and going. All right, you all. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, we'll see you Friday at the Rustic Garden, noon Pacific time, and no live stream next Monday. See you later. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye.